Boom boom ba boom bum ba boom bum ba boom bum bum ba ba dum bum bum.
Don't give it to me.
Started all the way on page test to explain the principle of tikkun versus toihu. And explain that toihu were very high oiris and so forth, but there was not real unity amongst them. And the union from tikkun is to bring about the total unity. And this is the principle of the ma uban, of birur of ma and ban. And as we explained, that the birur is on both ends, that there is ban in ma and there is man in ban. And he explained that there is the initial birur, the slapshus of ma in ban, which is not the ultimate of birur, because they still remain two separate entities. Paraseder Hishtalshelus. But the real birur that comes afterwards is just called etzem hama, and this is the principle of Tois V'Seiris, and this is the principle of Moichel Chadoshim. Okay.
Isn't there a step in between?
Huh?
Isn't there a step in between of the bittul of bond? Is that his lapshus of?
Mm-hmm.
What about the before that? There was where Chachma senses Kesser and nuts.
That's the slapshus of Mayim Ban. That is the slapshus. And we are waiting for the recording secretary, the computer. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We're good.
Okay. Okay, we'll just start the line before when we finish, so that we have the principle we are under. This is just below the middle, the third, 1/3 down the page, Yud Aleph. The line begins L'gabe Oede Seder Ishtalshelus. So this union, where you have what's called the etzem of ma, this is the spheres hagnuzim b'ma'atzilim. We discussed a little bit the principle of spheres gnuzim that are treasured in ma'atzilim. As always, there is more to be said, so let me just add another little point, a little insight in this Gnuzim b'ma'atzilim. Normally, spheres hagluim, which contains a spheres that we were discussing, the significance of these spheres is recognized on the outside, in their functioning element. They affect outside. That's where spheres. That's where spheres get their value, their effect. In the source, we don't need the spheres. The spheres are only ha'ora of the source, and therefore there's no significance to that ha'ora in the source itself. This is all for the purpose of affecting on the outside of the earth. Spheres hagnuzos, listen to gnuzos, this means they're treasured. It means that these are spheres that are recognized and appreciated by the source itself. Not because there's a kind of a need of it and a kind of a service for it, but because they truly represent the true etzem, and therefore they are treasured, they are valued. This is similar to what we say, which eventually will come clearer and be able to understand the significance of this term. It says, what is the primary desire of a human being? It is to be a human being. But he is a human being. Why does he need to desire to be a human being? He already is one. The fact that he is does not reveal his significance. Yeah, he is. He happens to have been made that way. He wants it means that there is a recognition of the greatness of it. And that recognition of the greatness is direct reflection, a direct ha'ora of the etzem. Only that etzem can appreciate this significance. This one says, what is, and that's what rotzen is. Rotzen is a ha'ora of the etzem. What does he really want? He wants to be a human being. He wants to be that great thing that the Rebbe had imbued into him. Similarly, when saying spheres are gnuzos. Gnuzos means they're treasured. As we explained, that's not that the spheres had not been yet identified. Not nimshach. They were nimshach. They're not nimshach. They're not there. They are there, but they're treasured. Why are they treasured? Because they actually represent the Yetzim. They actually represent the greatness of the Yetzim and the depth of the Yetzim. And these are the spheres that ultimately come in this is called the Etzem Shem Ma, which is the representative of the Atzmos itself. And this is what's called Tois V'Seiris. This is the Moichen Chadoshim. To appreciate this Moichen Chadoshim, one must first go through the Chitzonis HaMoichen. What we spoke about before, the recognition of Shem Ma from a Mitzias of Ban perspective, where there is this spoilers and this lahavus, which is like an external, the effect of Shema on the outside. Once this is recognized, this is not only recognized, it's experienced, and it kind of it brings the Shema to a state of beetle that he is looking for the Shemban, the Ban, the Mitzias, the state of beetle. He says, the real thing is the oir, not the Mitzias. Even though he's still a Mitzias, but he comes to recognize the real thing is the oir, and then he begins to focus on the oir, and then he completely negates the Mitzias, and he's looking for the etzem of the Shema of the oir. Without the functioning element, that what is the value of the oil is that it illuminates the Metzias. Like we say, what is the value of sunlight? Sunlight it makes it possible for us to see the Gashmis. Completely from a different perspective. Light per se is what he is pursuing, not its functional element. Hope I have you with me. When all the way back and forth. This is not. All right. So I said we're starting from the line that begins with the word legabe. V'hahamshocha there's hamshocha of the tois v'soiris of the etzem shamba ma he is alidei haTorah. It is via and by the effect of Torah. Torah brings it down. Teiraisa mechochmo nafkos. Because as it says, Eraisa mechochmo nafkos. Eraisa, actually, nafkos comes through from chochmo. We can now kind of bring out the emphasis of these words. Rach mechochmo nafkos. Even though if you learn Torah, you don't see chochma, you see bina. Everything in Torah has a subject, has a mitzias. The Torah says you must return a lost article that you find. And then it specifies, if you find a garment, if you find an animal, if you find this, if you find that, what's the point? And if you learn the Gemara says each one of these adds or includes another specificity. And from this specificity, we expand it to include everything that's similar to it. But the Torah speaks in very specific terms. Not in general terms, not at the level of Chochmah, level of Bina, but the Eraisa Mechochmah Nafkos. It actually represents the Chochmah element. And as we pointed out, where do we see that it represents the Chochmah element rather than the Bina element, as we point out now? It is that the Torah does not does not present these dinim by justifying them on the Bina level, logically. No, it presents them like in a clear and a specific manner, but it makes a statement that comes directly from the Chochmah without engaging the Bina and looking to make it fit, so to speak, into the world in which with which you're dealing. Like we explained yesterday, I think, or the other day, that Torah actually defies the mitzias of the world, even though it guides you in how to live in the world. And therefore, Shal Yod Nafkos, Shal Yodo. And therefore, al yoda, through that and through this chokhmah, nim shal gilu shem ma, comes the gilu of Shem ma. Saying haderach the Torah, and this is the principle, but mentioned all the way back when we first started this whole discussion. In line in trying to explain the principle that we started. But the initial beginning of trying to explain this Inyan is that Torah is called derech. What is the principle of derech? Derech is, as he explains over there, the pathway via which the oil goes. So Torah provides the pathway. Shenim shechalidei haTorah, because Torah is that pathway that provides bechinas toisfus, shaloi kefi seder hahishtalshelus. Torah provides as a pathway that there should be a completely new hamshach milmayla. Shaloi kefi seder hishtalshelus. That defies the seder hishtalshelus. Again, Seder Hishtalshelus we explained a little bit when we spoke about the initial birur of Ma and Ban, where there is a recognition of Ma, of the Kesed, but it's a recognition only on a functional level, and therefore the only way to capture it is by submission, by Kabbalah soil and so forth, as we discussed then, and that's called Beseder Ishtalshalos. Torah ultimately draws down the union from Oiris of Ma, Shaloi Beseder Ishtalshalos. But it's Shaloi Beseder Ishtalshalos. In contrast to what we explained, Seder Ishtalshalos, that even in Seder Ishtalshalos there is also an element of submission, where you are not really able to understand fully what the requirement, what this is. You have to, and the only way to relate to it is through Kabbalah soil. Nevertheless, it's called Seder Ishtalshalos. Why? Because it does not negate the mitzias of the world. It brings a means into the world how the world can also relate to that which is higher than the world. But the world remains a world. And it is able to relate to that which is higher than the world. This Hamshocha is Shaloi Kefezer Ishtalshalos, which means it negates the mitzias of the world. And translates the world on a different level. On a different level of moichin. Moichin that is higher than the world. V'zehu. And thus, this is what is indicated in this pasuk. D'rocheho darchei noya. D'rocheho refers to the Torah. D'rocheho, its pathways, darchei noyam, are the pathways of noyam. Noyam means sweetness, pleasantness. What is the influence over here? Pathways of pleasantness. This is Gilui Bechinas Neyam Havaya. Darchei Noyam is that this is to reveal the Bechina, the aspect of Noyam Havaya, the sweetness and the pleasantness of Havaya. Shezeho Bechinas Reisha the Atik Yaimhi. Which is the from the Reish the Reish of Atik. In general, we said that the Hamshocha V'Lakus is from Keser, and in Keser itself there is Arich and Atik. Arich is capable of relating to Seder Hishtalshalos, because Arich in fact has all the spheres. That Arich Hampin has all the spheres on a higher level. Atik is the Matzil himself. Atik is that which is above world completely, and this is part of the Kesed. There's a Reisha D'Atikei, and that is the Noam Havai. Torah has as its function, as its intent, is to provide a pathway for the Reisha D'Atikei, which the principle of it is we already discussed before. Okay. So this, in a certain sense, concludes the discussion that we started off when we started talking about the union from Darchei HaTorah, Derech HaTorah, the whole union of Derech and so forth. Now there is another phase to it. According to what we explained earlier, quoting the Zeir Chodesh, that Haderech the Torah hu milamato lamaylo, that the derech of Torah is not providing a pathway from Lamailo coming down Lamato, but Derech HaTorah is Milamato Lamailo, from down upwards. That's what Torah provides. So how do we understand it in light of what we have now explained? Ho'inyanhu. So there the inyan is to be understood the following. V'hine, yirid es hanshama lamato. We have to know in principle that the neshama coming down here below, hu bishvil hu aliyah. It is for the sake and for the purpose ultimately of the aliyah, of the ascent. Even though it comes down below, the ultimate intent of this is that it should facilitate the aliyah, the ascent. The who and what a kind of ascent is this? We wake in the neshama ascent. Shetisala b'bchinas ihi v'garmei echad mi b'chinas. That it should rise up mi b'chinas ihi v'garmei echad, from the b'china where the neshama originates, which is the level of ihi v'garmei echad. I'll discuss in a moment. Leb'chinas ihi v'chayei echad, to the b'china of ihi v'chayei echad. So this is going to be discussed. I just want to give us a little handle of this brief presentation here. We already touched upon it. That Ihu refers to the Ayin Seif. And the Ayin Seif, and it's the Ayin Seif the way it is in Atzilus. And the Ayin Seif in Atzilus is Ayin Seif in Kelim. As much as this is an oil halaki, yet it is in kelim. But the kelim themselves are also lakus. As the Alter Rebbe explains in Tanya, the kelim and the Atzilus, even garmei chad, that even the kelim are one with the oil inside, and the kelim also retain the Ein Sof element to the extent that the Kelim also have the Koyach Halaki to create Yesh Me'ayin. The Alter Rebbe explains in Tanya. The point is that the Kelim are not world, are not the Metzias, but the Kelim themselves are also Lakus. And that's the message in the word Iye V'chayei Echad, Iye V'garmei Echad. They're one. In what respect are they one? If they're one, why do we have two names for them? They're one because only in the sense that they're also lakus. This will eventually come to some kind of a greater clarity. But think that madrege itself, in Atzilus itself, there are these two madreges called Ihu v'chayei echad, Ihu v'garmei echad. And this already also be encountered before, that garmei. Gerem means a bone, which refers to a keli that actually has a mitzias. Chayohi means a life, which is just an external effect, but it is still oir. It is still a life element. So the neshamis originate, the source of the neshamis is from Kelim de Atzilus. All the Neshamis, generally speaking, in the Neshamis, not without exception, the general Neshamis are from Kelim de Atzilus, from which Kelim de Zoh, means from the Midas. And there it is the Madrege of Iyu v'garmoi hichad. So the Kelim are lakus, the Neshamis are lakus inherently, but is the lakus of Kelim de Atzilus. Iyu v'chayei echad, this refers to the Kelim of Chabad, of Moichin, as we have discussed, and particularly Chochmah. So the avodah of the neshama hilamato, descending hilamato, is so that the neshama, to facilitate the rise of the neshama as a result of its avodah, to rise up from Iyeh v'garmei echad to Iyeh v'chayei echad, from midas into moich. This is the ultimate goal, the ultimate purpose of the neshama descending here lamata. How is this accomplished? This aliyah from Iyeh v'garmei echad to Iyeh v'chayei echad, from midas into moichin, particularly chokhmah. That's why we say chokhmah is chayei. This is accomplished al yedei ho'aveido betikun ubiru hanefesh habamis. This is accomplished through the aveda in being mesakin, in perfecting and sorting out the nefesh habamis, bringing out the nefesh habamis, the distinction between its toiv and ra, and elevating the toiv and separating it from the ra. By being the bir of nefesh habamis, this is where the neshama accomplishes this rise from Iyeh v'garmei echad into the higher level of moichin of Iyeh v'chayei echad. As we explained the Iyeh v'chayei before, the Iyeh from chokhmah. What is the explanation that through Aveda and Bir Nefesh Habamis you accomplish such an ascent? The Nefesh Habamis, because the Nefesh Habamis who mitzius chumri v'gashmi is an entity at the level of chumri and gashmi. It's a coarse and a physical mitzius. That's kind of you would think an overstatement or overzealous statement. Nefesh habamis a nefesh, but it is still properly categorized as chumri v'gashmi, because in fact the nefesh habamis is not capable in its essence to start with. Before the biru, it's not capable to relate and to identify with something that does not have any kind of coarseness or any kind of a definitive physicality and presence. It's a mitzias chumra v'gashmi. V'alidei ho'avei the nefesh olikis. Then, as a result, and under the effect of the Aveda Nefesh Olikis, Shapo al Bit L'Hayesh Nefesh Habamis, which affected the beetle of the Yesh of Nefesh Habamis. The beetle of the Yesh of Nefesh Habamis is affected in many ways, but just to understand the principle of Bittul Hayesh Nefesh Habamis, this is going back all the way to what we spoke about in the previous page, that the union of Kabbalah's oil is a Bittul Hayesh, because one is pursuing a life of activity that he does not fully relate to with his own seichel and midas. That can only be pursued by a bittul hayesh. How does a bittul hayesh? How is bittul hayesh affected? How can? That's what he is. That's what his mitzias. I can even battle his mitzias, and then he should retain a mitzias. And this is what he explained initially, that initially the nefesh habahamis can only understand and relate to something that it can experience. Like we point out, what is real to Nefesh Abanis? That which is reflected in its mitzvah. It's like if you hit the hand, it hurts. Oh, so I know therefore there is something there. Something that is verified by its own mitzvah. Those are the coarseness, the chumris and gashmis. Bitla Yeshem Shabbanis is when there is a cognizance that there is a oil, that there is a higher Ayin, and the Nefesh Shabbanis is exposed to it. It says that is the truth, and you have to submit to that. That's Bitla Yeshem Shabbanis. Now we have to be mevatel the yesh of our class for a moment, and we will reassemble tomorrow, Mitzvah. Have a good day. Wow.
Switch this chair.
Huh?
Switch this chair.
You switch a chair?
Yeah.
Oh, his chair.
Boom.